The first bomb ripped through this bus during morning rush hour. Pakistani officials suspect a suicide bomber climbed on board and detonated his explosives, with devastating effect.
The roof of the bus was blown away. The bits of flesh of other people hit my head and covered my clothes. It was a terrible situation, and it was difficult to get out of the bus.
Nearby, more carnage from another bomb, possibly detonated by a second suicide bomber near a busy market. In all, at least 24 dead, many more injured. A double whammy for the government, right in its military heartland. Many of the victims were apparently working for the Defence Ministry, in the city where the army has its headquarters. Pakistan is already on edge, and these attacks have only added to the mood of foreboding.
Look, both civilians and security personnel were affected. Of course, this is part of a master plan to create instability in the country, and especially this bus has been targeted and anti-state elements are involved. This we can consider a conspiracy.
From the government of President Musharraf, there's plenty of talk about conspiracies and anti-state elements seeking to destroy Pakistan.
आप से पाकिस्तान है और पाकिस्तानी से आप लोग हैं हम एक हैं.
Seen here on Monday in traditional headdress, the military leader urged Pakistanis in the troubled tribal areas to resist militants. The country has been awash with bloodshed since President Musharraf decided to storm the Red Mosque in Islamabad in July, after militant Islamists with ties to the Taliban used it as a base to take him on. More than 100 died during that siege, and more than 60 soldiers have died in reprisal attacks since. It's out in the Badlands of South Waziristan, a rugged tribal area bordering Afghanistan, that the military is taking its biggest hits from militants like these men. Here, one of them nonchalantly lobs a mortar over at beleaguered Pakistani troops. This was the scene last Friday after militants stormed a base in the area, leaving 2 soldiers dead. And just today, an awkward admission from Pakistani officials that nearly 300 soldiers have now been kidnapped. In another recent incident, here some other kidnapped soldiers in Waziristan, shown in a video shot by militants and distributed to Pakistani television. In one disturbing image, a young man wields a sword, moments before beheading the bound and helpless soldier on the ground. The Pakistani president is under pressure from the Americans to take this lot on, but he must now negotiate with the men Washington sees as terrorists. President Musharraf is facing a similar dilemma with his political rivals, to fight or negotiate. Benazir Bhutto and Nawaz Sharif, 2 former prime ministers, are poised to return to Pakistan, despite threats that they could face legal action. No wonder the country is abuzz with talk of backroom deals.
And no talks with dictators, and especially military dictators.
Kidnappings and bombings may be ammunition for his rivals, but President Musharraf's people argue that only a man in uniform can lead the war on terror, now almost a daily reality on the streets of Pakistan's biggest cities. Trying to predict Pakistani politics is a fool's game, and the only certainty in all this, there's more instability and bloodshed to come.